You won't believe it. Murat's struggle turned into a family gathering, staring at his virus-tormented mother and his heavenly late wife, all illusions created by SKU. What a dastardly plan, Murat. He doesn't seem to get the importance of antibodies. If he abandons Spider Valley, Turkey will be history, with all the research burned to ashes. Creating antibodies for mutating viruses. Harder than Everest. This heartfelt speech didn't sway Murat. He's not keen on being a steel-clad superhero. After dusk, Asgol launched his makeover plan. First step, find an MRI machine. In this pandemic-ridden time, Turkey's high-end gear is practically on lockdown in the CDC. It's lock after lock. So, Sule suggested heading to the Plus One organization's research center, which built a fully equipped lab in a university to find a cure for talking troubles. This equipment is fit for the great LuGu makeover mission. But since being persecuted by the CDC, LuGu set a rule: never step outside his territory. As they argued endlessly, there was no sign of Murat in quarantine zone 6. Commander Anton might be hiding something. Clearly in big trouble. Fazza sensed danger, sent Gannon to tell Anton for undercover snooping. On the mission, Gannon sneaked into Anton's place and found tons of tapes and Zone 6 map. Key evidence seized from Murat's home. As he left, a child's reading voice came from the basement. Gannon drew his gun and slowly opened the door, only to find that Anton was hiding his wife and child suffering from talking troubles. Gannon wanted to report his findings to Fazza, but was caught by Anton, who just returned. He hoped Anton would turn back to the right side. He urged Anton to rush his talking troubles virus-afflicted daughter to quarantine, as CDC sought a cure. But Anton told him that the CDC had been hiding the truth, claiming that kids wouldn't get talking troubles. Yet, Klex's experimental results showed that talking troubles is age-agnostic. If you're human, you could be next. To avoid public outrage, the CDC secretly captured loads of kids with talking troubles, leaving Anton utterly disappointed in their management. Naive young Gannon didn't heed Anton's advice, rushing back to the office to hand the tapes and maps he found to Fazza. He thought Murat hid in marked areas, hoping CDC would swiftly deploy troops to capture him, ending the endless pandemic. But when Fazza found out Gannon had heard the tapes, to cover his own tracks, he lured him into listening to a recording of a talking troubles patient. Loyal CDC worker Gannon was duped into quarantine. Fazza seized Anton's family, threatening him to kill Murat in Zone 6. The plan to wipe out the talking troubles virus seems doomed to failure. 8 years ago, a mysterious virus swept through. It left hundreds of thousands suffering from this mysterious illness, and these data can't pinpoint the reason for viral immunity. Scientists sent Murat for an MRI and found his brain was more active than a busy beehive. Even though the occipital lobe showed low activity and couldn't determine the reason for viral immunity, locking Murat in a room with talkers might just yield the answers. To avoid being a lab rat again, Murat visited the talking troubles residents in Plus One's jail. Oddly enough, they all went mute. One morning, Murat felt an endless silence, even the air seemed heavy. One morning, Murat had no idea how profoundly this silence would rock his world. On that particular morning, every sound in the air felt incredibly precious. On that morning, Murat thought had experienced an eerie tranquility. On that morning, Murat took a deep breath, ready to face the challenges ahead. That morning, the silent room was filled with an indescribable sense of panic. Early one morning, waves of doubt surged through Murat's mind, overwhelming him. That morning, Murat couldn't help but ponder, what could possibly happen? In reality, many weren't about actually finding a cure for the virus. Capitalists were just trying to cash in on the pandemic, until a miracle in supermarket footage revealed Murat's immunity. This gave him hope for his family's recovery, hence had do anything to prevent the CDC from catching you. Learned Anton's motives, Murat decided to say, "I'll surrender at 6:47 p.m. sharp." Back at base, Murat prepped Neil, actually to lure Fazza, planning to create a security gap at the CDC. At 6:47 p.m., Murat showed up at the CDC interrogation room, asking for a glass of water before stalling for time. Just as the interrogator was about to throw him into the lab, Murat crumpled unexpectedly. Murat's teammates launched toxic gas through the air ducts into the CDC. The guards tumbled like dominoes. In protective gear, Murat prepared to leave with Mom. The interrogator stumbled, aiming his gun at him. Luckily, Anton intervened just in time, stopping the chaos. Though Murat successfully rescued his mother from the CDC, he was still searching for Anton. To save Anton, Murat told Fazza Plus One was plotting an attack, location to be shared after Anton reached the dock safely. Tomorrow was the opening day for the new CDC lab, and Fazza had to pretend to agree to Murat's conditions. Thus, heavy troops searched CDC-affiliated agency, but found nothing after a long day. Now, Fazza had no choice but to take Anton to the dock, while Murat simply told him the time. As long as the government allowed Plus One to hold a parade, Murat would spill the attack location. To secure his future at the CDC, Fazza had no choice but to grit his teeth and announce the parade decision on live TV. But the leader believed it was a trap laid out by the CDC, with the express intention of capturing Plus One red-handed before they could initiate their operations. In the end, after persuasion from the two, the leader chose to compromise. As long as tomorrow's parade went smoothly, had ordered his men to back off from their planned riot.